never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to go to prizepicks.com and enter the keyword Ref Brandon to double your deposit. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com and enter the keyword Ref Brandon to double your deposit up to $100. It's a Friday. Hopefully everybody's looking forward to the weekend. I know I am, because Sunday night is the Clash in the world of NASCAR, which means it's the unofficial start to the NASCAR season. Plus, 2 weeks from today, college baseball starts, and you can never have too much baseball. There are a lot of great sports, but baseball is the best of them all. But today here on the channel, we're going to talk some about National Signing Day. Of course, that was this past Wednesday, so now everybody's had about 48 hours to sit around and look at your team and think about who they signed, who they didn't sign, and look at some of your hated teams or rival teams signing day to see how good or bad they did compared to your team. So I figured we would talk about it some here on the channel. This is the top 10 signing day classes according to SI.com, which of course is Sports Illustrated. You can go to just about any website or any company, magazine, whatever it is that does a college football, and they're going to have a list of their top 10, and most of them are going to have 7 or 8 of the same teams and maybe 2 or 3 different teams, but just a different order. But this is the top 10 according to SI.com. The number 1 class in the country signed 28 players. That was Alabama. Their top 3 commits: offensive tackle Caden Proctor, running back Justice Haynes, and defensive back Caleb Downs. It's funny how everybody swears up and down that Alabama's time is over, and they're slowly not going back to being a 6-6 team, but they're going from being a top 5 team to being a top 20 team. But looking at their signing day, you can't believe that. Number 2, Georgia, 26 commits. Their top players: edge Damon Wilson, linebacker Raylan Wilson, and linebacker Troy Bowles. Number 3, Texas, 24 commits. Quarterback Arch Manning, linebacker Anthony Hill, and running back Cedric Baxter. Miami, 25 players, and everybody knows my thoughts on Mario Cristobal, so we won't talk about that, but that includes offensive tackle Francis Mauigoa, offensive tackle Samson Okinola, and running back Mark Fletcher. Oklahoma, 26 commits. Defensive back, Peyton Bowen. Edge, Adepoju Adebawor. And quarterback, Jackson Arnold. Ohio State only had 20 commits. So that tells you if they have that many players less than everybody else signed, that pretty much every player they signed has to be a 4 or 5 star player. If you've got all these other schools with 24, 26, 28, 25, 30 players, and Ohio State only signed 20, but they still finished 6th in recruiting. Their top prospects: wide receiver Carnell Tate, wide receiver Brandon Ennis. LSU comes in number 7, 25 players. Offensive tackle Zalance Hurd, edge Deshaun Womack, and wide receiver Jalen Brown. Oregon signed 30 players. That includes defensive lineman Mateo Uiagalelei, wide receiver Jurion Dickey, and cornerback Roderick Pleasant. Tennessee comes in number 9. They also signed 30 players. That includes the quarterback they have high hopes for in Knoxville, Nico Lamalieva, defensive lineman Davin Hobbs, and wide receiver Nathan Leacock. And number 10, according to SI.com, was Clemson. They signed 26 players, and that includes defensive lineman Peter Woods, edge Tamarian Parker, and defensive lineman Vic Burley. Again, that is the top 10 National Signing Day overall classes according to SI.com. You can always get on Google and you can read the articles from CBS Sports, ESPN, Fox Sports, 24/7, whichever one you choose to read. And as I said, most of them, if you go by the top 10, they're going to have 7 or 8 of the same teams and 2 or 3 different teams. Just going to be a different order. But I think just about every single one is either going to have Bama 1 and Georgia 2, or Georgia 1 and Bama 2. And then after that, it might be a little bit different. But you're not going to see some team be number 3 on one side and number 17 on one side. They might be 3 on one and 7 on one, but they're not going to be top 5 on one, top 20 on another one. It's not going to be that much different. Any thoughts on this opinionated top 10 poll according to SI.com? Please feel free to let me know. And don't forget about HFOTUSA.org. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since its inception in 2004, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at HFOTUSA.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What has more letters than the alphabet? The post office. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.